Hello, I'm Richard Black, and this is Richard Black's Review. I want to give you some information that I have received about progressives in Washington, D.C. and Barack Obama and what they're up to. And you wouldn't believe it, but you cannot trust the progressives with power because they will use it to the citizens of this country's detriment. There are several powerful people in Washington, D.C., in the Congress, the Senate, that want Barack Obama to have a third term, maybe a fourth term. They want to rule and reign this country from a progressive thought and progressive attitude. They don't want Hillary, and they don't want the liberal, and they don't want Republican presidents. They want progressive presidents so Barack Obama would continue to go around the House and the Senate Republicans that are in control now, supposedly. But we get control of the House and Senate, and we still can't control the president with his pen and his phone. But here's what they up to. The 22nd Amendment, what it says is this: no person, Section 1, no person shall be elected to the office of the president more than twice. No person who has held the office of president or acted as president for more than 2 years of a term to which some other person was elected president shall be elected to the office of the president more than once. But this article shall not apply to any person holding the office of president when the article war proposed by the Congress, and shall not prevent any person who may be holding the office of president or acting as president during the term within which the article becomes operative from holding the office of president or acting as president during the remainder of such term. This article, Section 2, shall be inoperative unless it shall have been ratified as an amendment to the Constitution by the legislature of 3/4 of the several states within 7 years from the date of the submission to the states by the Congress. Now, Franklin Roosevelt had 4 terms. They thought he was great. He went through the war, he went through the Depression, all that. They elected him 4 terms. 1951, they put a stop to that kind of thing. I would like to see our judges from the Supreme Court, the appeals courts, the state courts, the county courts, the city courts, all have to be elected by the citizens for a term of not more than 4 years, and then have to be re-elected again. We the people need to be in control of who we put behind the bench to have that kind of authority. The Supreme Court has become a party to whichever presidential or administration is in office. That was never meant to be. We were supposed to have honest, constitutional attorneys, lawyers, judges, and the Supreme Court to offer a fair deal, a fair judicial system to the citizens of America. But as you have just seen in these past months, that the Supreme Court is as radical as the Obama administration, and even supposed to be conservative Supreme Court judges such as Roberts and Kennedy think they know better than the Constitution and to the people. They have given us the Obamacare. When Obama says it wasn't a tax, Supreme Court says it is a tax. So they don't care. This has never been done before, so there's nothing out there. And now they say that gay marriage, homosexual marriage is equal in all states. Well, then we should make carrying a sidearm, a weapon, equal in all states, with equal justice under the law. You have several states that has open carry without a permit, as long as you're not a criminal. So we want equal justice under the law as well as far as carrying a sidearm in any state of the United States without having to. In Georgia, you put it in the glove compartment. South Carolina, you put it in the trunk. Or North Dakota, you can wear it on your side. A motorcycle, you got to put it in your saddlebag. Or go to Massachusetts, you can't have it at all. So you take your gun all the way across the country, get to Massachusetts. What are you going to do with it? Where are you going to put it? It's against the law to have it in the whole state. So it's just nuts. So equal rights under the law should apply to all situations, not just to gay marriage, if you agree. Here's what this law means now. What they want to do, the progressives, they want to take a bill going through the House and the Senate, Republican House and Senate, and they want to slide an amendment in there right at the last minute on a Friday afternoon when nobody's watching to actually do away with this amendment that said, a 22nd Amendment that says no president can hold office for more than 2 terms. They want to have it voted on by the Congress, the Senate, just kind of slide it in there like they normally do these things. Late Friday afternoon and over the weekend, to actually do away with the 22nd Amendment so they can get Barack Obama to run for a 3rd term. Now, folks, these people are not playing games. There is a scheme. There is a plan. There are a group of people in the country, in the world, who want to control the world, and will tell you and I we don't have enough sense to run our own lives. They want to tell us if we can or cannot abide by the 2nd Amendment. They want to do away with that. And they're chopping away at it one at a time, one at a time, one at a time. And we the people, the Christian people, the conservative people, are sitting on our royal behinds and letting them do it. Now, are you going to stay home again at the next election and let the progressives and the Democrats have another, put Hillary Clinton in office? Are you kidding me? That's just a 3rd and 4th term for Bill Clinton. But we believe, and from what we understand and what we've been told, is Barack Obama is planning. That's why he don't seem to care about anything. He's planning to run for a 3rd term. And you keep an eye on the news media and see if they ask that question to the legislators, to the Congress, to the Senate, to the President. Are you planning to run for a 3rd time? And all you got to watch for is that little evil grin that they have on their faces when they think they got you, or that you have found out something that you're not supposed to know. They don't want you to know, but they got this little smile. If you watch Alan Combs, when he's going to answer a question, he knows what he's going to say is ridiculous, but he will have a little smile. The liberals on Sean Hannity, when they go to when he asks them a question, and you know they're not going to agree with the question, they have a little smile like, well, we know what you're saying, Sean, is right, but this is our stance, right or wrong. This is what we stand for. Have we now found out that they're killing babies in the womb to sell body parts to universities and to medical centers? You know, isn't that great? The Supreme Court did that. And now 50 million babies, human being babies, have been murdered in the womb. And body parts have been harvested under certain conditions and being sold for profit by, the liberals, by the progressives, by family planning, And they don't care if you're black, white, Hispanic, or who. Black Lives Matter. Look at the abortion clock. Just type in abortion clock on your search engine and see how many African American babies have been aborted. Black Lives Matter? White Lives Matter? Does anybody's life matter to progressives and to the Democrats? Really, for the ultimate cause? Is there anybody they won't do away with for the end result of their plan? I don't think anybody's lives matter to Democrats, to progressives, if the life interferes with their plan for the world. These people are evil people to the utmost. If you read about the tares in the Bible, you're now witnessing the fruit of the tares. There's nobody they won't have slain, murdered, killed for their agenda, for their progressive movement. They're no different than the Muslim extremists. There's no one they won't kill, murder, or cut their heads off for their ideology. And I will throw the Republicans, a bunch of them in there. We have some progressive Republicans. When you see the status, the ones that's been in there for years, like McCain, and you see Lindsey Graham, and you see you got established congressmen and senators been in there for 30 years. We need to stop that. They need to work maybe a 10-year term and get out. An 8-year term and get out. We don't need to pay them hundreds of thousands of dollars a year. It's supposed to be a public service. The presidents of the United States should not get their salary for the rest of their lives and should not have people guarding them the rest of their lives with guns. They have guns around these presidents. They have guns around the White House. They have guns everywhere, but you and I can't have a gun. Obama gives the Iranians atomic bombs and wants to take our guns. But he won't give up his guns to protect him every day. He won't give up his bulletproof automobile or his bulletproof airplane. He won't live and act like an everyday citizen getting in your car and going to the grocery store because he has people do that for him. You see, he's become the rich elite. And please remember, Obama is as much white as he is black. His mindset is no different than a progressive white or black. They don't see it that way. They just use those references to get people on their side. You people falling for this stuff, to say for food stamps and welfare and housing and all that stuff, that's that big sucking sound to get you in on their side. So in the end result is absolute control of your life. They'll tell you what car to drive, how much gas to use, where you're going to go. They want to put a chip in your forehead or your hand. The Bible talks about where they can keep up with you no matter where you at. How much money you got, how much money you spend, what you spend it for, where you spend it at, what you think, what you say, what you believe. It is absolute control of the human being throughout the whole world. The reason they don't want your Bible because you have a belief in God that supersedes a belief in them. The reason they want your guns is because they're going to start doing things that they're going to need protection from the citizens of America because of what they're doing. So they want our guns and our ability to fight them back, to keep them from giving power to them over us, and we have no way of fighting back whatsoever. The police, of which I was one, will have guns. Army will have guns. They will give the Army guns to fight against American citizens, but they won't give the Army a gun to protect their own self from radical jihadists. That's control, folks. They're controlling the whole system to who can have what, when, and where, and who can't. and 5 soldiers getting killed, or 4 and a sailor got killed, don't mean nothing to them. It took a week for them to lower the flag. Lowering the flag at hazmat is a salute to those that died. They're saluting those that died for their service. I don't care about that. But they care about Ferguson. They cared about the Brown. They cared about Trayvon Martin. They cared about anybody out there that's African American. Boy, they all just run down to it and talk about it. But these Marines, Obama didn't send nobody down there. Can you see a pattern here of who they care about and who they don't, who they associate with, who they don't? If people get hurt that are Republicans or Christians get hurt, they don't care. It don't matter. But anyway, I digress. Now, what does all this mean? If they do away with the 22nd Amendment, the president can run and run and run and run and run. Nothing in the original Constitution limited the number of terms that a president could serve, but the nation's first president, George Washington, set a proceeding by declining to run for a 3rd term, or set a precedent by declining a 3rd term, suggesting that 2 4-year terms were enough for any president. Washington, president, survived until 1940. Washington's president survived until 1940, when Franklin Delano Roosevelt, a Democrat who had steered the nation through the Great Depression, ran for a 3rd term. On the eve of the Second World War, Roosevelt won a 3rd term in 1940, and on the 4th term, 1944, following Roosevelt's death in April 1945, just months into his 4th term, Republicans in Congress took the lead in proposing a limit to terms for future presidents. The amendment specified that a vice president took over for a president but served less than 2 years for the former president term. The new president could serve for 2 full years term. If more than 2 years of the presidential term remain with the vice president assumed office, the new president may serve only 1 additional term. It's amazing that they set a limit on the presidents, which I think they should do and have done. And we need to guard that to be sure that stays that way. Why won't they pass a law setting term limits on themselves? Why wouldn't a how is it that they go in broke and they come out super rich? Do they have an input, which we know they do, into the stocks and bonds, and they know what to invest in and what not to, and they got all these multi-millionaires, Republicans, Democrats, all of them. They all got multi-millionaires backing their campaigns and giving them money. Don't you know there's secret money under the table? Don't you know all this stuff is going out into the Middle East and Germany and France and Spain? It's all going out, and you notice the politicians are getting richer and wealthier, bigger homes, houses, cars, and you're not getting doodly-doodly. You're not a dime richer today than you was 8 years ago when Barack took office. You're not a dime richer because when any president was in or any Congress is in, they have not made you richer. They want to give you $5, $10 an hour, $15 an hour. They make $10,000 an hour just by putting money in the stock market. Folks, they don't give a dang darn about you and I. They tell you they're going to pay our bills and give us money and better cars and all that stuff. I never got anything from the government I did not work for. I worked for my Social Security. I worked for my retirement from the county. I worked all my life from the time I was 12 years old. Nobody gave me anything. And I don't want anything for free. They fussed about $15 an hour in Oregon and Washington. Now that they're getting it, they want to work less hours so they don't make too much money. They can still get their public housing and food stamps. So they thought they wanted $15 an hour until they started losing their government subsidies. Well, welcome to our world, who work hard, who make good money, and have done 20, 30 years of service, and never got a food stamp, never got public housing, never got a car given to them. They just worked hard all their life and they achieved a certain amount of success. But no, these folks want $15 an hour plus the food stamp, plus the public housing, plus the cars, plus the gas, plus all this babysitting stuff. That's progressivism. Gimme, 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 gimme until everybody runs out of money and there's nothing left and there's nobody to give anybody anything. It will bankrupt. And we'll all be standing on the street corner picking our nose, wondering what happened. Anyway, this is just information I wanted to give you today, that there are people, progressives, that want to take away the 22nd Amendment. And if there is a war going on at the time that they have been declared by the Congress, the president may run for a third term during a wartime situation where the war has been declared. So watch for someone making a declaration of war so the president could run a third time too. Do we really want a Democrat, liberal, progressive person who denies God, denies the Bible? Everything God says is wrong, they vote that it's right. And everything God says is right, they vote that it's wrong. Do you really want Hillary Clinton? I'm a Christian, but I don't believe nothing God says is right. I'm a Christian, but I don't believe anything God says about homosexuals is right. They will say anything and do anything to get your vote, and then they will do anything and say anything to you if you mess with them. They are dangerous. So be on the lookout for this. I'm Richard Black. This is Richard Black in Review. Bye-bye for now.